Hi, everybody. All right, I'm going to go over Tuesday's lessons. This is for December the 1st. So for math, we went over 7.2 in our book. So that's, let me turn to page 223. All right, All right, so in 223, we are estimating products. So a product is our answer that we get when we multiply. So here we are on this page here. So estimating products, again, the answer when we multiply. Estimating, meaning we're not getting an exact answer, we're getting something that's close. And the reason we're doing this is we're checking for, we want to see if our answer is reasonable. So we want to make sure that we're in the right ballpark, that we haven't, gone too far and got something that's way too high or way too low. We want to make sure our answer is making sense. So this is a strategy we can use. So here we read this. It says an African elephant can reach as high as 23 feet with its trunk. It uses its trunk to pick up objects that weigh up to 3 times as much as a 165-pound person. About how much weight can an African elephant pick up with its trunk? So here we rounded to the greater we rounded the greater factor. So remember, factors are these things that we're multiplying together to give us that product. So the greater one's 165. So we rounded that to the nearest 100 and got 200. So then when we multiply 200 times 3, we do that 3 times 2, which is 6, and add those zeros for 600. We crossed out this information because it was not useful to helping us solve that problem. And then we flip the page, and we, notebook open. All right, so the page, while I've got the book open, the pages that we did for our lesson are on page 228. We did this one together right here. So it says, which is the best estimate of the product? So here you've got 3,825 times 8. We rounded 3,825 to 4,000, did that times 8. We said that 8 times 4 is 32, and then we add those 3 zeros to give us 32,000. And then in our notebook, we went and found the actual. So when that first problem, the 165 times 3, we broke it down into its expanded form, all of the different parts for each of the digits. And again, we're using the larger factor. We don't need to break down 3 because 3 is already a single digit. And then we did our box model that we learned a couple weeks ago, and then added up those partial products. So 495 was our actual answer. And so our estimated product, when we rounded that 165 to 200, we multiplied that by 3 and we got 600. So because 600 is close to 495, that means our answer is reasonable. So I'm confident that we did this correctly. Now, if I would have gotten like 6,000 or something like that, and then my answer is 495, that's a big difference. So I would have needed to go back. Okay, let me make sure I got all my zeros correct. Let me make sure I added all these right. Let me make sure I've got 3 partial products. Let me make sure I added 3 partial products. So going back over, if you've got a really big difference, that can help. All right, then let me get out of this. All right, so we went over that during small group time. Students did that page 228, all the questions there, and they put their answers on this Monday through Friday math right here. There's a spot, let me open it real quick. There's a spot right here to put their answers for their independent work. So then let me go back here. Then they worked in eSpark, and then together we didn't finish the fraction problems from yesterday on Monday, so we continued working on the fraction problems, And then on Wednesday, we'll get into these. So we're kind of a day behind on the small group, if that's okay. All right, for Seesaw, for reading, we went to our activities, and students have the Hansel and Gretel story where they're recording themselves reading each page. And again, I've sent back a few of them because it was just a one-page recording. I want the entire story recorded. So every single page. And then in small group, we did our second closed reading with the 3D printing story that we read. And then our lesson was here. We talked, let me open this up. All right, we continued talking about um, some of our vocabulary for poetry. So we went over personification, which is giving human-like characteristics to non-human things. You see that word person within the word, and so just use that to remember these are things that are often used to describe nature. So here, when you look at this poem, it says, "I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on over vales and I can't read vales and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze." So here, these daffodils, these flowers, it's talking about how he's looking over and he sees them fluttering and dancing. Well, the daffodils aren't actually dancing, that's a human characteristic, but he's using it to describe the way that they're moving back and forth. And so it gives the reader just a better understanding of what the author is talking about and helps you to really visualize what that looks like. All right, so then idiom. Idiom is a saying that does not mean what it says. So, for example, it's raining cats and dogs doesn't actually mean we've got cats and dogs raining. Instead, it means that it's coming down really, really hard. Excuse me. Automatopoeia, these are our words that show sounds. So as we read this poem, we went through and we highlighted all of the sound words. So this is called Mom and Dad Are Home. Slam, slam, go the car doors. Jangle, jangle, go the house keys. Jiggle, jiggle, go the keys in the door. Squeak goes the front door. Thump, thump. That is me running down the stairs. Guess what? Mom and Dad are home. So we went through and we highlighted those sound words. And then symbolism. Symbolism is a figure of speech where an object, person, or situation has another meaning other than its literal meaning. So it's something that stands for something else. Think of it like a symbol for something. We talked about the Nike check, how if you see that check, if it's on your paper for school, then that symbolizes that you did a good job. Like you got a check mark. Your work is complete. If you see it on my clothes, then that's talking about the brand Nike. So it's a symbol for their brand or that company. All right, so this is called dreams. It says, hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. So again, they're using those symbolic things to just really help the reader kind of, connect more with what's going on and to help you really visualize and understand what's going on in the poem. All right, and I think, yep, we stopped there. All right, so we went over those. Students have activities in the independent work, and then I went over the other ones. And then in writing today, let me go down. All right, so in writing, we left off on page 8. So we went over these two and did some grammar practice. And then students had time today to write their introduction and which needs to include the hook and the central idea. So we were writing about our favorite gift that we've received from someone, and we're explaining what the gift is and why it's so special to you. So we took a lot of time going back and looking and making sure that those introductions are looking really good. So we spent class time on that, And later in intervention time, we were joking around. We were calling ourselves the grammar police, and we were helping each other um, get these, looking a lot stronger, and really helping each other out, which was nice. And so with the introduction, the hook, remember we talked about different ways you can start. So you can start with a question, you can start with the funnel, you could start with the anecdote. So there's all kinds of different, and that's just three of them. There's all kinds of different ways you can start your paper, but it needs to have that attention grabber that's gonna, hook your reader and want them to keep reading. And then your central idea is where you are telling the reader what your favorite gift is that you've received from someone. So you have to be very clear. It doesn't say gifts, it just says favorite gift. So just think of one thing that's special to you, and make sure you tell the reader what that is. And then they had a quick right here about this little crazy guy here. So you can read that and respond on page 10. And then that's where we stop there. All right, then in science today, we took our test, and the test is in Launchpad under Aware. And then students, anybody, we had a few not pass, so I uploaded it to Seesaw, and corrections can be made. Um, in your Seesaw messages, and you'll have to zoom into this. In your Seesaw messages, there is a sheet that I posted, a little peach page that looks like this, and it had all the notes that we took. So students can go back and review that before they do the retest, but I want them to go back and look at each question, use those notes, and really think about what the question is asking, and do it over. And so we did that. Took all of science, and then when they finished, they went and did their social studies for the day. And on the agenda for social studies, there is a video to watch as well, right here. So they can click the link for the video and then do the current day for week 15, and that's on Google Classroom, right here, week 15 social studies. And then again, like I said, for our intervention time, we went over and kept looking at our writing, and then we played a game on Kahoot, going over some homophones. And that was our day. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.